Have you ever wondered what daily life in China is really like? Many people know China through movies, news, or social media, but everyday life can be very different from what you expect. From food culture and mobile payments to social etiquette and the way Chinese people communicate, small details can make a big difference when you visit or live in China. Hi everyone, I'm Yu Ting, a Mandarin teacher from Guangzhou, China. In today's video, I'll share some important things foreigners should know about Chinese daily life and culture, and I'll also teach you some useful Chinese words along the way. Let's explore China together.
All right, let's just jump right into this explainer because we have got a lot of ground to cover. Today, we are unpacking the fascinating, sometimes a little confusing, but absolutely vibrant everyday life in China. I'm your resident cultural guide, and joining me as always is my favorite curious learner.
Hey everyone, I am so ready for this. I've been looking into everyday Chinese culture, and honestly, there are so many things that just completely catch me off guard. I literally cannot wait to decode what is actually happening on the streets, in the local restaurants, and inside people's homes.
Well, you are definitely in the right place. We are skipping the dry textbook stuff today and getting straight into the real, on-the-ground survival guide. So let's look at our first major cultural mystery. Okay, yes, this one perfectly captures my biggest culture shock. So imagine you are sitting in this beautiful, bustling local restaurant, having a great time, and suddenly two friends stand up, waving their phones around, practically wrestling each other to get to the cashier. Have you ever wondered why Chinese friends fight over the restaurant bill? Because to an outsider, it seriously looks like a real argument.
It absolutely does. It looks super intense. But actually, it is the exact opposite of an argument. It's a massive, very public display of hospitality. And to really understand why this happens and, how to navigate it yourself, we need to look at how central food is to the entire culture. So let's move into that.
Section 1. Culture shock. Dining out. So to truly get Chinese dining, you kind of need to understand this ancient fundamental philosophy, 民以食为天, which basically translates to food is paramount. Or literally, food is the sky, the heavens for the people. Eating is hands down the most important part of daily life.
Wow, that totally explains why there are restaurants quite literally everywhere you look, from massive Mecca cities to tiny little mountain roads. It is a massive food lover's paradise. But navigating these spots, that is where I need some help. For instance, whenever I sit down in a local spot, they pour me a glass of hot water. Even if it's the middle of summer. Like, where's the ice?
Right. Notice the huge contrast in habits here. In a lot of Western countries, ice water is just the absolute default. But in China, tap water generally isn't drunk directly. Instead, Chinese people strongly prefer drinking warm or hot boiled water. It is deeply rooted in the belief that warm water is just way healthier for your body and your digestion, rather than shocking your system with ice-cold drinks. And speaking of dining habits, the table manners might totally surprise you too.
Oh, right. I read that letting out a small burp after a really good meal is actually totally fine, right?
Exactly. A little burp is completely normal. It is not considered a serious breach of etiquette at all. But, and this is a really crucial point, blowing your nose loudly at the table? Absolutely not. That is considered very impolite, especially in formal settings. So even if you have a terrible cold, it is always better to just excuse yourself and go to the restroom. Now, let's circle back to your very first question about fighting for the bill. It all really boils down to this essential Mandarin idiom, 礼尚往来. It basically means courtesy demands reciprocity. 礼尚往来. Okay, so if my friend fights to pay the bill and wins, I shouldn't feel bad about it? Not at all. You give them face, you let them pay, it's totally normal. But remember, courtesy demands reciprocity. The unspoken rule here is that you must remember to treat them the very next time. Let's practice the example phrase. 朋友请客要礼尚往来. Friends treat each other, courtesy demands reciprocity.
Okay, that makes so much sense. I will definitely let them pay next time, as long as I make sure I get the next round. Anyway, let's look at Section 2, moving and buying things.
So navigating transit in China has its own set of unspoken and, well, spoken rules. First off, on a subway or a bus, there is a very strong social expectation that you give up your seat to the elderly or the weak. If you don't do this, be prepared for some serious, heavy, judgmental stares from the locals.
Good to know. Just basic respect. Safety first too, right?
Exactly. And while bicycle helmets aren't legally mandated everywhere yet, though you definitely do see more people wearing them now, seatbelts in cars absolutely are. Oh, and if you want to travel between cities on China's famous high-speed rail, the Gaotia, you have got to book early. It is literally one of the fastest trains in the world. But if you don't buy that ticket well in advance, you probably just won't get on a train that day.
Okay, so what if I take transit over to a local street market? Say I want to buy some souvenirs, but I hear the prices aren't always fixed.
That brings us to our next survival skill, 砍价, to bargain. At street stalls or local farmers markets, bargaining is a huge part of the culture. A pretty good strategy is to just cut the initial asking price right in half, and then slowly negotiate your way from there.
Let me try this sentence out. 去市场买东西可以砍价. You can bargain when shopping at the market. Honestly, it sounds like a really great way to practice my spoken Mandarin.
It really is. It's so interactive. Just remember, you obviously can't bargain in the big corporate shopping malls.
Right, of course. And how do I actually pay after I've successfully bargained? Like, do I need to carry a giant stack of cash?
Actually, no. Cash is practically obsolete at this point. And this beautifully illustrates the modern Chinese economy. Wei Ma, the QR code. You're going to see these everywhere, from super fancy malls all the way down to the person selling breakfast fruit on the corner of the street.
So, 请扫二维码付款. Please scan the QR code to pay. So basically, my smartphone is my entire wallet?
Exactly. With a fully charged phone, you can travel the entire country without fear. Online shopping is also incredibly fast and super cheap, offering literally everything you could possibly imagine.
Okay, so I can eat, I can travel, and I can shop. But what about actually connecting with people? Let's move to Section 3, Language and Social Norms.
For example, imagine you are walking down this crowded, neon-lit street in Guangzhou, and you hear people just shouting at each other. Are they fighting? Should I be worried? I am so glad you brought this up because this is a crucial point for any visitor. Loud talking is very often just a completely normal conversation. In public squares or busy restaurants, voices just naturally carry. They aren't arguing at all. Plus, China is huge, right? There are countless local dialects. Even the locals sometimes can't understand each other's accents or dialects. So please don't stress out if your perfect textbook Mandarin doesn't exactly match what you are hearing on the street. Okay, that is a huge relief, but what if people are just staring at me or I hear them say that specific word? What is it again?
老外.
Right, 老外. It literally just means foreigner. If people stare at you or use this word, please don't be offended. It honestly comes from a place of genuine, friendly curiosity, not malice at all. Just like our example sentence says, 他们叫你老外是没有恶意的. They mean no harm when calling you a foreigner. Now, let's talk about basic greetings. In your textbooks, you always learn 你好, but out in real life, you might actually hear this classic phrase a lot more. 吃了吗? Have you eaten?
你好,吃了吗? Wait, does this mean they're actually inviting me to dinner right then and there? No, not at all. And this is where so many learners get completely confused. Going back to our very first rule, that food is paramount. Asking if you have eaten is simply a warm cultural way to say hello. It is just polite small talk. Same thing goes for vague phrases like, oh, let's get food next time. Unless they set a specific time and date, it's usually just being polite, not a hard set-in-stone invitation. Good to know before I awkwardly wait around for a dinner invite that is literally never coming. But what if I am actually invited to a Chinese home? I definitely want to bring a gift. Oh, great idea. Bringing fresh fruit, pastries, or a small souvenir from your home country is always perfect. But you absolutely must avoid certain strict taboos. You should never ever give clocks, pears, or umbrellas. Wait, really? Why those specific things? It is all about homophones, words that sound exactly the same. So giving a clock sounds exactly like the phrase for attending a funeral. The word for pair sounds exactly like the word for leaving or parting ways. And umbrella sounds just like separating. So in the culture, they're considered very, very unlucky. Wow, language really shapes absolutely everything. Speaking of language, what about dating? Chinese dating culture has its own really beautiful quirks. Chinese partners might not say I love you all the time out loud, but they show it through their actions, like cooking for you or taking care of you when you're sick. But here is a fascinating paradox for you. The word 讨厌 literally translates to annoying.
Okay, so if a Chinese girlfriend says 你真讨厌, I have definitely done something wrong, right? Actually, scratch that. It is often the exact opposite. When it is used playfully, it's a super common way to express affection. It basically means I love you, just hidden behind a playful little tease.
You are so annoying, I love you. I actually really love that. Okay, let's wrap things up with section 4, surviving public spaces.
So, if you are ever looking to rent an apartment in China, you really need to know this word.
广场舞
Square dance.
大妈在跳广场舞
The aunties are square dancing. I have actually seen videos of this. It looks so fun and just so vibrant. It is. It's amazing. But the music can be incredibly loud. So if you are someone who prefers a quiet living space, make absolutely sure you don't rent an apartment that is directly overlooking a public square, or you are going to be listening to the aunties' energetic dance tracks every single morning and every single evening. Also, just a quick side tip. Public grass in the cities is usually just for looking at, not sitting on. So definitely don't plan on having a picnic on the lawn.
And this brings us to the ultimate, absolutely most critical survival tip for public spaces. The bathroom.
Ah, yes. The infamous squat toilet.
Exactly. A lot of public restrooms in China use squat toilets because locals often consider sitting on a shared public seat to be unhygienic. It can be a real workout for your legs if you aren't used to it. But even more importantly, while things are modernizing super quickly, many public bathrooms still do not provide toilet paper. You literally must always carry a small pack of tissues with you wherever you go.
Always bring tissue packs. Got it. Honestly, this whole explainer has been incredibly eye-opening. I feel like I have completely leveled up my cultural awareness today.
Well, let's put that new awareness to the test. Section 5, real-life Mandarin practice.
All right. Let's imagine we are just finishing up a really great meal at a restaurant. I will play the local friend. I suddenly stand up, I wave my phone with my QR code all ready to go, and I shout, 服务员,买单,今天我请客,别跟我抢. Waiter, the bill, it's my treat today, don't fight me.
Okay, I remember the rule. I am not going to cause a scene. I'm going to give you face, but I absolutely have to secure the next round. So I say back to you, 好吧,那下次换我请,礼尚往来嘛. Okay, then next time it's my turn, courtesy demands reciprocity. Perfect. You completely nailed it. You accepted the treat gracefully, but you honor the social contract. 10 out of 10.
And that brings us to the end of our explainer. From mastering the art of fighting for the restaurant bill to navigating a world of QR codes and understanding why someone calling you annoying can actually mean I love you, China is just a place that constantly surprises and delights you, as long as you know what to look for.
It really is. I am definitely always bringing my own tissues from now on. I am so ready to bargain at the market. And you know what? I am going to start drinking warm water too. Thank you so much for breaking this all down for us.
You are very welcome. Now we are turning it over to you watching. Which of these Chinese cultural habits are you most excited to try out in real life? Think about it, and please don't forget to follow us for more deep dives into everyday culture and natural Mandarin learning. See you next time. I hope this video helps you understand Chinese culture from a more everyday perspective. Learning a language is not only about grammar and vocabulary, it is also about understanding the people, habits, and stories behind the language. If you enjoy learning Mandarin and discovering real Chinese life, don't forget to subscribe. And if you want to learn Mandarin with a personalized lesson plan, you can book a trial lesson with me. The link is in the description. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Next time, we'll explore an interesting topic. What are the differences between northern and southern China? See you next time.